My name is Andy over at Falco Canine Academy's Healthy Dog Network, and here again at the Super Zoo. And based on our branding of everything for the dog in regard to mind, body, and bowl, we're at another a vendor here who's providing something that I think is of great interest to all of you. And I already know that one of our customers, Kim, and Kendall, which you already know, has Lola, the peanut detection dog that we've been on National Geographic on, that kind of stuff. And knowing that dog has some anxiety about being on planes and sometimes around certain types of people, she began to use this product here, Canna-Pet, and she has found some great results. And she has been talking about it for the last month or so to me, and again reminded me, hey, let them know that I think this product is great, and she wants to shout out to the world that she really loves this product. So I'm here with Dan. And you are the inventor of Canna-Pet, right?
Correct.
So can you explain so that they can understand a little bit about this product, that they need to know how you came up with it and what it's all about?
Okay, so essentially there are valuable compounds in plants that aren't specific to any one plant. You find them throughout the plant kingdom. Some of the words for them are terpenes or flavonoids. You think back to when your mother said, eat your vegetables, they're good for your eyes. Or even now you see studies, red wine is good for your heart. They're talking about compounds that are present in plants that have beneficial health effects. And what we're looking at specifically here is using industrial hemp as a source of those compounds. And the compounds we're talking about are cannabinoids and terpenes and flavonoids. What's unique about industrial hemp is that it's an extremely good source of certain compounds that, even though they're available in small trace amounts elsewhere, they're highly present in industrial hemp. So when we concentrate it further, we're giving you even greater amounts. So one of the most famous compounds in recent news is something called CBD. So CBD was something Sanjay Gupta talked about on CNN when he talked about Charlotte's Web helping little children who are having seizures. And CBD is often associated with marijuana because those are the plants they use to develop the CBD for the children with seizures. Now, CBD is also extremely present, in fact, more present in industrial hemp than it is in the marijuana form of cannabis. As some people may know, marijuana and hemp are both from the same genus, cannabis. But just like dogs have been bred for many, many generations to exhibit different traits, they're all canines, but you have chihuahuas and pit bulls and poodles, a whole range of traits they exhibit, so too has the cannabis plant been bred over time. So hundreds of years ago, cannabis was grown by our forefathers as an industrial crop, and it was grown for sailcloth, for example. And we desisted that in the United States over the past 100 years, but the rest of the world didn't. So industrial hemp persisted as an agricultural crop. So for the past 75 years or so, the United States did not grow industrial hemp. This started again in 2014, and now there are programs in 23 states to grow it. So what we're looking at is sort of a gray area or a black area where there was no knowledge of growing the crop here, and there was also no scientific research done domestically into the benefits of the crop. So when people hear about CBD, they immediately think about marijuana because that's the only source of that they've ever heard of. But the fact is the rest of the world has this other source, industrial hemp, that's now finally coming to our shores as a crop for farmers as well. And when we concentrate it, it exhibits tremendous amounts of CBD and also, more importantly, a whole array of additional cannabinoids and terpenes. Now, these are amazing because many of the benefits that people associate with medical cannabis are not the THC at work, but there's other secondary compounds like these terpenes and secondary cannabinoids. We have them in great abundance in our products, much more so. So we're seeing some tremendous, tremendous outcomes for pets. And it's basically a common element of their food they just have not seen for 75 years. If you go back 75 years ago, horses would be eating this in the fields. The United States cavalry used cannabis in tonics for, these are ancient remedies. Now, but when people think about, ancient remedies, ancient cannabis, what was grown 5,000 years ago in China or Greece when they formed these medical tomes, it was industrial hemp, the same crop we're talking about now. The marijuana form is a divergence that happens, from selective breeding here and elsewhere. But We're talking about bringing back an ancient part of the food supply and just reintroducing it for pets.
So I normally don't let people talk that long, but you are so fascinating. I got a whole education that people, I think, they need to know about this stuff, because some people may think this is a gateway drug for their dog or something like that, and it's so far from that. It is actually a benefit in so many ways. We talked about cancer. I've talked about anxiety. What are some of the other things besides those? Or if you want to focus on those, great, but what are some of the symptoms or issues that your product helps dogs with?
Well, rather than delving into specific issues, I would say what we see is that pets now are living longer lives because we have better medical care, we're giving them better food. But what's important is the quality of their lives. Our products improve the quality of life for pets. So almost all of us have middle-aged or aging pets. They're already showing signs of physical decline, whether it's they've injured themselves through athletic activity, whether it's genetic issues that they're dealing with that are now coming up, whether it's allergies or sensitivities that have grown over time or are exhibiting in themselves. So our products help with such a wide range of things. We find them really beneficial as a general nutritional aid. Now, the fact of the matter is, the way public awareness is, it's a new thing. So most of the people that we find coming to us have ill pets. They're very ill. They've tried medicines. They've tried other things for some of the things you're talking about. We're working with pets that have cancer or that have seizures. We're working with pets that have mobility issues, pain, anxiety. A lot of the time, we start as a supplemental therapy that they can add it alongside any medication they're using or any supplement they're using, because there's no interaction at all. We're working with a completely separate biochemical system. So a lot of people then come to us because they're concerned, regardless of the issue, they're concerned with the severity of the medications they're using for their pets. So whether it's Prozac or Tramadol or Rimadyl or steroids or even non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, they don't like drugs that are probably developed for people, not really for animals, and also long-term effects on a small system, years and years of use. So we find a lot of people coming to us as an alternative, and we find that we start becoming more and more part of their program once they see how our products work, because it's not subtle.
So should it be something that maybe people would give to their dog, just as soon as they get a dog, maybe start using the treats or something like that on a regular basis? Or is what you're saying that they don't wait until your dog is drastically ill, maybe give them something as a supplement on a daily basis every day?
We use our products with our personal pets, even the younger ones, as a supplement earlier on in life. Because think about it this way. You don't want to wait till inflammation flares up. You can treat it before it flares up. A lot of disease and aging process is the result of chronic inflammation over time. So if you have a product that addresses inflammation, you don't have to wait till it flares up if your whole life you're receiving that. Also, our products, they help with issues when used intermittently as well as constantly. So sometimes we have a pet that is quite ill, right? They're going to use our product every day. But we also have situations where the pet is anxious only for going on a plane trip. It's much easier to bring your bag of biscuits in the car, and then whenever the pet gets in the car, give a biscuit, we're going to be all right.
So for that issue, you don't need to give it to them like 3 months in advance to get it in their system?
No, our products take effect within about 45 minutes, so you would want to plan ahead a little bit. But, for fireworks season and things like that, those people, if it's a season or a 3 or 4 day event, they may go to our capsule products and put it on twice a day for 3 or 4 days during the event. Right. But if it's an intermittent thing, they can use our biscuits or our capsules 45 minutes and as needed.
Okay. Hey, I'm glad you brought that up, because 4th of July was one of the things that really was on my mind, and I actually brought up your company in one of the podcasts I did. But one of my understandings was that it needed to start being given to them in advance of 4th of July. But you're saying...
No, The product has effect right away. Now, if you're working with a highly anxious pet that's anxious through the whole period, we'll say, why don't you start on July 1st or 2nd? Let's see how they're feeling the first day. Make sure we get the administration just right, so we dial it in, and then just desist after the 4th or the 5th. Yeah, there's no build-up or lead-in. Now, sometimes you're dealing with a pet who say they're aggressive or they have issues with other pets. Well, now, that's not just a matter of calming them, which is a short-term effect, but that's also a matter of retraining and positive associations. Now, those things can take weeks to see the full benefits.
And that's one of the questions you kind of led into, and this may be one that I don't know if it'll be good for what it is we're talking about, but in some cases I've had people give their dog pharmaceutical for anxiety, and actually reduces the inhibitors and makes the dog actually a little bit more aggressive. Have you found anything like that as a response to your product?
No, we haven't seen any issues. You know, every pet is an individual, so we can't say that it's out of the realm of possibility. We've never seen it. If the potential for our product, if you over-administered, is that it might make your pet a little tired for half an hour to 40 minutes. But usually it's the other direction from what you're talking about. So almost people who give a little extra on the 4th of July, they take a nap and they're happy about that rather than the other way. Now, if any pet is sensitive to any product, what's nice about ours especially is that they metabolize it quite quickly. So within 12 to 15 hours, it'll work its way out of their system. So if their pet is uncomfortable, there is no reason for alarm 12 or 15 hours later. Usually within 2 to 4 hours is the maximum peak of effect, and within 12 to 15 it's completely worked out of their system.
So you have different forms. You have the chews, or the treats, I would call them. Then you have a liquid form with an eyedropper, and then you have the pills. Is there a difference of whatever the dog is ailing with that you would pick one of these things, or does it just depend on what your dog will accept?
Well, rather so than ailment specific, these are designed both for bioavailability and for convenience. Okay, so basically a lot of products are presented as edible products, things that you consume directly, but with the specific things, the compounds we're talking about, it's very important to consider not just how much is in the product, but how much reaches the endocannabinoid system in your pet. So that's in your brain, in your central nervous system. It's carried there by the blood. And when you process things exclusively through digestion, you lose a lot of the active ingredients to digestion. So we work very hard on bioavailability, and that's where our initial products were our capsule products, which have a powder in them. It's designed to be opened and sprinkled into food, and this allows it to absorb directly in your pet's mouth. The liquid is an extension of that. Again, it's a concentrated liquid, only a few drops. It absorbs through the gums. It's highly bioavailable. And then we have a few tricks with the biscuits, too, to get beyond just digestion. But we're a little quiet about how we do that. But by far, the capsule products are what we see people going to most because they can put them on any food their pet is used to, and a lot of ailing pets have food sensitivities. So the capsule products have a very small amount of hemp and really no sensitivity to that, so they can be put into their special diets, or they can be used as a pill for pets that aren't eating well. The liquid product has slightly faster absorption, so it has to be administered more often. Whereas the capsules, we give them morning and night as a basic standard, the liquid products we would use 3 to 4 times a day. So if you're home with your pet, it's easier to use the liquid product more often. Whereas people who are away during the day, we'd prefer you use the capsule just to make sure they're covered during the whole day. Now, what we see lately is people are combining the two products. And again, the idea is just to more forms of administration, more ways, bring more benefits. We're trying to cover the bases as well as we can.
Well, I think people can tell by the way that you describe and talked about your product that you're into the science of the project or product. So on their website, is there studies that they can find that will back up what it is that you're talking about with this and the results of those tests?
That's right. The best place to go really is Canna-Pet.com. That's the resource for all of our information. All of the things I've talked about are covered in much more detail, all the science behind the product, all the studies that have been conducted that have been published thus far are referenced there so people can see what people are using the products for and who we're working with. So that's a great resource.
All right. Well, where can they get the product? From you directly on your website, or do they have to go somewhere specific?
Right now, we're available direct from our website. We're in about 300 or 400 different retailers, and we're working with Fetch for Pets. They're a distributor, and a marketer, and they'll have us on shelves nationwide within the next couple of months.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was a ton of information. I'm going to have to take a nap. Trying to listen to all the words you were using, which I've never used in my entire life. But it's a fantastic product. At least the people that I know that have used it have all had rave reviews about your product. So I really appreciate you taking the time to explain everything. And if you guys get a chance, go to the website, look at the studies if you guys want to see some of the supporting material that goes along with this product. Thank you again, Dan, very much. I appreciate it. All right. We'll see you guys at the next one. Take care.